Just going to do an update on the previous HPS watch list. It's kind of what we do is go back, take a look at the last few months, kind of clear the list, get ready for the next batch of stocks. Over the probably last month, we've been very cautious going into the election, knowing that this whole thing could have went up in smoke. It's behind us now, so I want to just kind of go over some of those charts, explain some things. And again, the HPS charts are charts that are part of a watch list to go out weekly, and these are setups that are setting up based on a high probability methodology that I teach on the site on Day Trading Radio. So these are automatic entries. Every time you'll see a buy trigger or a stop or profit zone, these are all automated. You get sent alerts when any of them are trigger. First, the buy trigger has to, of course, trigger, and then if a stop hits before it goes out, the profit hits before, it lets you you're able to keep track of your trade, and that's a great thing. So it doesn't always require you to be in front of the computer constantly, especially if there's really good setups. Now, Tractor Supply Company again was one of those divergent setups. We like the divergence, so we had the buy thing. I ended up picking up some of this. For me, going into the election, you'll see what happened with this. It actually kind of just turned over, and as the polls started to change, Donald Trump was starting to catch up. We were starting to feel that in the market, and that's what really gave this market that pullback. And a lot of stocks with that got pulled back too. So Tractor Supply Company never even got off the deck there, and never got that. And as you can see, after the election, right here, we actually started turning back up, and the election has pushed us back up into the profit zone. Now I was able to actually, I held on to my position on this, and we took it off. Just yesterday, we took it off up into this target area, but in fact, it didn't really play out as expected. But that happens when there's news overhanging. You're going to notice that a lot on the charts. I think when you see the normal markets, these things really work out good. When you have something out there that's influencing the overall market, then these patterns kind of break down. It's up to you to or it's up to me to also let you know that that's what's happening. That's what we try to do over the last 3 weeks, is not really add anything to the watch list because of the situation, but also understand that news affects technical analysis. It just drives the market higher or lower based on it. And you can see on this, a great example on this, broke down, but then reversed and pushed right back up. Here we have Avalon Bay, and this was a REIT, and we like this because of that lower trend line. As you take a look here, it worked out fine, or buy zone, right up to our sell zone. And it chopped around. It actually went up a little higher and then came back down. But this worked out fine. I actually still like this, and this is another good thing, is to always refer back to this. If you're on the site and on the dashboard is where you're going to find this. You're going to go up to the top of your dashboard, and right here where it says HPS list, that list will come up. All right, so that's where you're going to find all these setups. So you should always go back to them, and because lots of times those lines and trend lines and the reason any notes that are on there will still be even if it hit its target, when it comes back down, you have a retracement or something. These are also very important to watch. So these charts are already set up for you. That's why I've been keeping them on there. Even if they trigger their stop first or their profit, I try to keep them on there, so it's an added research benefit here. Lots of times you'll also see previous setups here. This was a previous setup on waste management. And then, of course, look at this. This was just perfect. And again, this is just on there. These are just the last few HPS setups. And this one will just continue to blast out of there. This is really it was an oversold stochastic. It was a trend line break, retracement, reversal gap down. I think there was some other things going for it. But that's, it's all part of the playbook. And that's where we ended up on that. So great setup. Not looking at it now, there's no reason. A lot of these stocks, we love them, but they're really extended, and I'm not really looking to short it. Here we have PSA, the REIT, and as you can see, we tried to make our move up there. We never got up there. We rolled over in front of the election, and then the election's over now, and it's starting to rotate back up. But it did hit its stop. It was a very tight stop on this. Considering our buy zone was 210 and our stop was 206. It didn't give us much, and that was just a fake out flush there. It was really a great divergence. If you went long there, and again, these are just all automated, so it's, unless we take those long, and I actually have PSA. I have calls going into next week on this. So I am still waiting for these to play out. Hopefully it does get a little pop into next week. But this, again, this trade is basically over. All right, here we have Panera Bread. And again, another interesting one because really a nice chart, but it did break down here. It started moving up. It broke down, actually chopped around, eventually hit its profit zone. Actually, I wanted to show you the next one here. Panera, not the PSA. The Panera Bread here. This is the one that I actually got into, and it moved down pretty aggressively. But what happened here, it's interesting. We didn't get into this until after it hit its its buy trigger. Now, in this case, you have a buy trigger between 225 and 250. As you see here where the alert happened, we never broke that buy trigger. So we came all the way down, everything was good, everything's good, and all of a sudden here, this weird day here, just kind of triggered it and pushed back down. So it triggered our buy trigger, triggered the stop and the same thing. It was kind of a fluke, really a kind of fluke. The true, trade here, was the breakout above 200 and on its way up to the profit zone of 204. Well, now we did trade this. I did trade this well, but because of the chop and the kind of the fat finger trade or whatever happened at this point right here, the gap up in the sell-off, it just triggered everything and it just threw things out of whack. And then look at this bounce. So this is all based on the presidency and the election and stuff too, these last 3 days. Here's the older one in Gilead here, and this was a buy trigger at 79.25. It popped right up to our profit zone, and then that was perfect. Then it's pulled back. It's no longer active, but again, we're just reviewing some old charts just to take a look at some old trend lines and stuff. And remember, this becomes all automated. So you'll get that buy trigger 79.25 alert come over, either by text, depends on how you want to set it up, or email. And the same thing happens when that profit zone is hit also. Here's one that's going to be on, this is one that will be on this upcoming week's watch list. And you can understand that every time we find a recognizable pattern, we want to be able to measure it out and get into the best area. Those are usually, especially if we're looking at a long, will be off of a 1, 2, 3 channel. A 1, 2, 3 channel represents 3 pivots, and then you can start to build out the channel knowing that the distance between these 3 pivots, you can put a line here, 1 line here, and then extend that line, and that would end up being a channel line. And you don't have to worry. All you have to worry about is when that price and that channel line meet up, and you have your stochastic setup or divergence. In this case, you actually have the divergence. These are the HPS zones. So there's a zone here, there's a zone here, there's probably a zone here. A 1, 2, 3 pattern there, and we already had that breakout, but this does look good. But, just to give you an eye how I do set these alerts up. So we will have to wait for that next rotation, next setup on this. I'm probably going to actually be trading this one this week. And you can see there's an old one back here. Whenever it was 2013, I had a HPS alert back on this one. Imagine that. Imagine being able to say I still had that at $89. Wow, right? Whoa. But that's what's going to happen to a lot of these stocks. It's surround yourself with the best. And you're most likely going to work out really well. Don't chase anything. Like, I don't want to chase this. But, know the bigger picture is probably really positive on a couple of these stocks. All right, and the last thing here, again, the last 3 months of trades. Now, I normally trade options and stock, a little of this, a little of that. Usually I take a stock position and also buy a few calls or puts depending on what I'm looking at. In the case of this, this chop and not a very aggressive market to the upside, those options most likely are going to give you a harder time. If you get into the stocks, you have time with those. It's not like you're going to have the decay of the time. So a lot of these HPS setups, they seem really good when you look at them on the options, but you got to make sure there's no events out there that are going to overturn the apple cart, so to speak. But we did a lot of, I've been picking up the pace on the stocks. Like I said, the Fastenal, we were in Fastenal this Let me see what we have. I'll actually go over this. I'll take a snapshot of this, and we'll just run through some of these some trades we took fast. Now, again, I'm not I like to trade and average, on a for what I'm doing the show and stuff. I'm taking what the HPS is giving me. Some months it's going to be really good. You're going to have a lot more trades. Some months you won't have many trades, and that's what this represents. It doesn't show the futures on this. I mean, on the options on this, but this is all the stock setups, and this goes back. You'd always go to the you could always go to the site, and then scroll down, and then you'll see all the trader historical portfolios and stuff every year.
Good system will.
So, and that's.
The market's
you
going
can
down,
go
the
back.
should
You
say
hear
that,
myself.
but the market's
It's all
going
broken
down.
down. Everything has some really good stuff on it.
And we've turned over.
Why is that playing like that? Anyway.
Yeah, most methods are going to work. Or else it wouldn't be there.
And it's broken down, and it gives you a great outline of every single trade done on the site. How many longs, how many shorts.
Brings it to the next.
I apologize for that background noise there. I'll fix that. And each month it's broken down. But getting back to that, let me see where it was. Let's go back over here. All right, there we are. And I'm not, and I'm talking about size also. Not much size here. Average, my top size is usually around 300 shares, depending on the stock. But I mean, lots of times you'll see there's some really good gains here on 50 shares, 25 shares, 50 shares. Recently on Facebook I had on 50 shares. I'm holding IBM, I'm holding stuff in the stuff. But this is the November trades, MasterCard. There's some other ones that need to be updated on this. But it's good supplemental income, especially if you're not trading full time. The HPS is perfect for you because, first of all, you get alerted to everything. Any setups, you get alerted, you can track it, you know exactly what's going on, and you're getting quality stuff. Every one of those stocks on that list right there is, a name that I would trade over and over again, and it's just a matter of time for those to set up. So real fast here, Apple, we traded that one on Darden Restaurants, DRI. Traded this into this consolidation. Darden from the restaurants going to the mall. Apple, a lot of Apple trades. Wynn Resorts, that was a great trade. Also, I think that was around $100 at the time. Where was it? It was over here from an oversold level to an overbought level. There was some also, again, you'll see a lot of stuff. I'm actually going to look at this again now that I'm looking at it right now. I haven't looked back at this. And we're back down to the lower part of the channel line. Not that that's part of this video really, but for me, I could spot it a mile away. Gilead, again, same thing. We've traded this multiple times, and that's back in September. And then, of course, the FOXA and the media stocks, the HPS setups, channel within a channel, divergence. Look at the moves. And I've taken, like the Foxy, my entry was at 2450. Now, 2450, right around here somewhere. Now it's at 27 and change. I get out pretty fast. In this case, I got out at, I got out pretty fast. But a lot of these are usually really great positions. So, excuse me, MasterCard and, IBM. We talked about that on this one. And then it goes on and on. Surround yourself with quality. Wait for the HPS setups. You get all the alerts. Everything works out fine. Stocks, options, futures. We do the same thing for the futures, but I have many videos on that. Just look on the site. And I think we'll leave it at that. So thank you again for tuning into this video. I'll see you on the site, Day Trading Radio. Every single day we broadcast live from morning to night. I mean, it's incredible. Since from 2007, we've seen it all. From 8:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, right to 4 o'clock. Overnight shows, any type of trading at night. We got the feed going. So come on by. We'll see you then.